everybody, it's me, Liv. So I'm back. So you remember I did the Halloween one here for my MacBook cover. But since I had told you I am planning to do one for every season, I decided to use this paper. It's called Gold Autumn from the Alchemy of Art. I don't even remember where I got it from, but it is a really cool paper set. And so what I decided to do is to go ahead and create my fall theme one and share with you guys what I'm going to be making. Now, as you can see, these papers already have a lot of elements on it, both with the textures and, the different colors it has on it. So there isn't much I need to do. Now, I came with this one piece that was almost the perfect size, but I wanted to pull another. So to make it exactly the size it needs to be. So I'm just tearing this paper. It's nothing really amazing or sophisticated. You see, I'm kind of using my October theme one as my base for the size. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this one on top. So this is perfect because I really love that little element they had up there on the corner. So, but because I have the white core, and some papers do have white core. Again, I think if you've watched my channel long enough, I have this thing about white. Someday maybe I'll get over it, but I'm not a huge lover of it. So I love color. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to ink up this white section here, figuring I wanted to latch a little bit more with what's been going on. As I was doing this, I realized, you know what, this is probably going to take me a lot longer than it needs to. So maybe if I just kind of really trim off that white part a little bit, then I can still do the inking, but it won't be so much white that I need to cover. And I'm going to go ahead and also use my, I have my glass mat with the cover on top of it that I've gotten because, I'm going to go ahead and make a little bit of a mess, which is pretty typical for whenever I do a project. Once I've gone ahead and put on the orange, I decided I'm going to go in with just a little bit more of the brown and then bring the two patterns of the paper together by making sure that I have inked all the way around. And that I just think inking on all the edges really just helps bring the pieces together. So I'm going to do it on this one as well as I'm going to do it on the lower end piece that you see that I'm going to be using. Now, I did do a lot of exaggerated inking on the lower half, and that's pretty much okay because I don't mind that messy look. I think it just kind of adds to the grunchiness of it. Now, I am just using this base one to figure out exactly where I'm going to line the two up so that I can make sure that I have, the right size. So as you can tell by how I craft, I am not one of those people who worry too much about exact measurements. I just kind of wing it most of the time when I am making my own projects here. Now, I ended up accidentally not getting them as flat and lined up as I wanted, and I know that I wanted to bring some things under the lower part of the edge, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't stick that kind of ridge part where the two pieces connect. But if you are interested in getting more of these collections from this particular designer, this Alchemy of the Arts, not only do they come with two-sided sheets, which are my fave, they also come with tons of sheets that you can do cutouts with. And so all the elements that you're going to see me use within this project are cut out from the die cut sheets that they have. Now, this big flower sheet, flowers that you see is actually not from the die cut sheet. This is from one of the pages. And I was looking at it and I was thinking, oh, you know what? This would look really cool if I cut this out and put this on. I wanted to go ahead and ink all the edges. Yes, I did accidentally drop my sheet, but don't worry. I'm a master at covering things up when they're not exactly doing what I want them to do. But I'm going to go ahead and glue this over here to create a little bit more of a balance of what's going on the underneath section here for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and put these flowers on this lower half. I generally do use like my tape runner for pretty much everything. I will use my art glitter glue or my berry glue for more detailed items so I don't use too much glue. Now this was on the other end of that same sheet of paper that I cut out. So I figured it's nice to have that balance between the two sides, having this floral arrangement with the leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here on this side of the page. Now I could have definitely left all of the die cuts that I cut out from the fussy cut sheets white, but I was in the mood to be inking everything, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue that pattern with everything that I'm working with. So let me get this truck down. Now, if I was doing this as a layout or as a card, I probably, again, would have popped up some elements. But as you guys remember, I'm doing this for my MacBook, so it needs to be pretty thin, and I need ways to create different textures and elements without creating a lot of depth to the project, if that makes sense, because it's a very thin space that I have to use. So I had those die cuts. I went ahead and cut them out using some of the papers that we have here in the collection. Just went and ran it through my spellbinders a couple of times so I can get a whole bunch of leaves out of it. And now I'm just going to go ahead and get it ready to glue down. Like I mentioned before, because these are much tinier pieces of paper that I'm working with, I did take out my Bailey art glue, and I'm going to go ahead and use that to get everything glued down first. Sometimes I use one side, sometimes I use the other. Again, with pattern paper, you can decide which one. You will see that if you're actually using this particular die, there is one side that definitely is the side where it has the most elements and grooves to it. But on a project like this, I don't think it matters too much which side I end up using, as long as I continue to keep the elements interesting. So as you can see, it really makes sense to go ahead and put the leaves all over the place, both underneath the truck, besides the truck, and so forth and so on, so that it can make sure that there's a lot of different elements that are going on. I'm also going to then focus on doing my corner panel here as well. Now, again, if you're doing a corner element, you want to make sure that you are doing a couple of little different things to layer the card area, whether it's a card, whether it's the corner. This actual image is actually double-sided. It's pretty much the same exact thing on both sides for the die cut, so it doesn't, again, really matter which way you want to use it. These are all from the fussy cut sheets here that are included within this kit. So I'm going to go ahead and put all those down and then, put in a couple of leaves just to keep it kind of consistent with what's going on, both on this lower part by the truck, and then eventually is going to actually go on to climbing up the center of the page as well. Now, I did this for two reasons. One, I felt like there was a lot of big open space here that I wasn't really sure kind of matched the kind of overall busyness of the page. So if it made sense, I was trying to figure out a way to close off some of that area so it wasn't necessarily looking so empty. But the other thing is, you saw I did drop my ink pad. And because of that, I also wanted to create a way where I would be able to cover up what was going on for that. So this is a quick and easy part. Just going to go ahead and kind of arrange my leaves in a way that is pretty much done. So it's not such an obvious look of the lines from ink pad, but there's these couple of sections in it that have this like the bluish kind of way color that the paper is. And I think maybe you can see it underneath. That was naturally part of the paper. And as I was working with that, I was thinking, you know what? I don't know if I really brought out that blue as much as I would have liked to have brought out that blue. So is there a way I might be able to do that in some way, shape, or form? So I decided I'm going to go ahead and bring out that color a little bit more through some splatters and just add some sentiments all throughout. Now, these actual sentiments that you see here are not part of this kit. These are ones that I actually had from another one. And the reason that I decided to pull them out is because sometimes I'll do a project and then I don't know about you guys, but I get tired of a project. And so I dismantled it and I take parts of it that I want and recycle it in a way. And now since I've been able to kind of reuse these within my own new project here, I feel like it's not necessarily a waste because I've torn it apart, because I found a new way to use it. Now, whatever paper it is that I'm using, I have to say it's pretty thin because of the way if I'm tearing it off, but that's okay. And then I will end up doing some finishing touches with just adding a little bit of splatters in here. My goal here was to try to match the color of the blue as much as possible. It's okay if it was a little bit brighter, but I didn't want it to be like completely off from the color that we saw. So I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle that all over. As you can see, I just take my paintbrush, I just tap on one end, go with the other end, and kind of sprinkle it all over my project. And once that is done, I would say after I've rounded my corners, my project is all set. So here's the finished page. I love both this paper, all the elements, the splatters, and just how nice it came out. So I hope you guys enjoyed number 2 of my MacBook seasonal covers, and I see you guys soon. Take care.